whoever Prince kind of had his eye on at the moment was the star of the show for that time.
Probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
He played God.
I mean,
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I do remember the first time that a bunch of people came in to this room, and it was before we went over to 2. And that was, I think, on a Sunday, because I finally had a day off. He wasn't going to work.
And they called you in.
8 a.m, I get a call from the studio manager. Prince is on his way, and he's bringing a band. Freaking out. Because first of all, I didn't live that close.
Yeah.
And he's on his way. And what's this band? We've only had one mic up at a time so far. So I come down, I go to the mic locker, I just grab a bunch of mics. It's like, the things I would use on drums, guitar, piano, whatever, a whole bunch of mics. And I just start setting them up. And I'm not here more than a few minutes, and people start walking in. And it's Sheila setting up a drum set. Prince comes in, he's setting up to play bass, and it's like right here, and he's over there. And Wendy and Lisa. So we have keyboards, we have guitar, and then Jonathan
Melvoin.
on that piano.
His brother.
And
Yes.
David,
Coleman,
Lisa's brother, is over there doing percussion and Indian instruments of all kinds.
like sitar, right? Like some kind of sitar.
Yeah, sitar and little finger cymbals
sitar,
and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, and so, I'm still setting up mics. He goes, go roll tape. It wasn't even that. It's just, one word always, roll tape. Okay, 15. I said, it's not a line for 15. It's only a line for 30. Doesn't matter. Right. So I go in there and I roll tape, and I still haven't finished setting up the mics, but they're like already playing.
God,
it's
feel
like,
the anxiety.
Following them around almost. And so I put it in record, and because he wanted to go for like 30 minutes instead of 15.
Did you have an assistant helping you, or
nobody?
Oh, man.
Nobody's here. Nobody's even here.
I can feel your
Sunday.
anxiety all these years later. I can still feel it while
Right?
you're telling the story. Yeah.
And so I put a cassette in also.
To record.
Back up.
Somewhere I still have it. Somewhere.
Oh,
They jammed for
Bill
like
coming
20
over.
minutes. And so in the first 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, even after I finished setting it up, I'm still like adjusting the mic pre's and the faders and turning EQ and like, I think it probably never got used for anything, but it was crazy.
No, what you're describing sounds like Around the World in a Day.
It's what it ended up being.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
It ended up, because that segued into just a week or two later of David Coleman getting this room for a day for free as a birthday present. And he
great.
and Jonathan come in, and we record all day long and mix it in the evening. And he's doing all this Indian kind of stuff. And that was the beginning of Around the World in a Day. He ended up, working on that. And then he called me and said, "Hey, you're actually going to use the song on the album." It's like,
Wow.
Redone.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's crazy.
I believe I've heard that original version, and then it became the album version. Yeah,
There might not have even been
it
vocals
was like a
on
jam
that.
session. Yeah.
Yeah.
so he would come in, and you'd know about 10 minutes before what you're even working on. He'd just be like, set up a mic here, do this, bass, something, and then you're just going. And then the next day, it's something completely different.
It's like
For
a nightmare.
those 5-6 weeks, whatever. You were
I mean, Prince is the New York City of artists, right? They say if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. If you survive a Prince session and end up doing a month, that means you're really fucking good at what you do, And especially that guy had no patience. I mean, if you mess something up, you're out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's
it was about 29 days longer than I thought it was going to last.
Wow.
But so amazing that you got to experience that when, it just happened to be that Peggy was gone and you weren't even a head engineer at that time, and you worked with
I just happened to be the guy
Yeah,
that
you
wasn't
went
as
from
busy.
picking up Famous Amos cookies to engineering like some of the greatest songs of all time by
crazy.
anyone, not just Prince, just by anyone.
Did you have an assistant at any point for that month with him? So somebody else that would remember anything?
I don't think so.
It was just you. That's a lot of work, especially
Yeah.
with him. Mike's, was Prince always the Neumann U47 when he
For
would
vocals?
do vocals? Yeah.
Yeah,
That was it.
nothing else.
And we have that mic, and Matthew, the setup over the API console right in there. Would he cut all vocals in there?
Well, when I worked with him, he didn't cut any vocals in there
He did it on the floor.
out here.
Really?
And I knew how he did it in there. And the mic might have already been in the room, but if it wasn't, I went and got it when he was going to do a vocal. And he set it up like right there. And he wear headphones and had the music maybe in his hand and, the lyrics. And it was a little nerve-wracking. This might have been the most nerve-wracking part of the month because I think Peggy basically left him alone. He sat at the console and he could control the levels. He could start, stop, rewind, everything.
Yeah. He'd run
Now-
the tape machine, too.
Yeah, he doesn't have any control out here. So it's up to me. And I was really, really good at running a tape machine, punching in, punching out on a syllable. I could do that stuff because I'd been working, just not on this kind of stuff. And so he would he basically say, play, and you do this. He's going to record. And then he'd do this, stop. So you got to be looking at him. And then rewind. He would say rewind, and he could hear the tape, that faint sound, because the lifters have lifted it away, but there's that faint sound of, and stop,
Punch
play.
me in.
You say play, and then punch in, and he was like a measure in front of where he wanted to be every
Jesus.
single time, and then he'd punch in a part.
He would never say pre-chorus, second pre, get me
No.
there. He would just stop. All right, punch
Right.
me in.
I mean, that's mind-blowing because a lot of engineers have said, he would put record and we'd have to leave the room when he did vocals.
Exactly.
You got to watch him record vocals. Not only record him, watch him. That's very rare,
And probably take a year off my life too.
I'm sure. I would have taken 5 years off my life to watch him record a vocal.
It was pretty
Gladly.
cool.
Wow.
It was pretty cool.
Why? And he was right here.
And he's standing right
Yep.
where we are.
Yep.
Ladies and
Literally.
gentlemen, Studio 3, Sunset Sound.
Did you ever see the bed in here? It was,
Oh yes. Now I wasn't working during that time.
But you did see it.
It was elaborate. It was like really fancy coverings. It might have been brass. I can't remember.
Craig had to go out every Friday and get new sheets, purple sheets. It was once a week. That was his duty as a studio manager to go get Prince
Where the
the
hell did you
purple
find
sheets.
purple sheets? 1984.
Wow.
I thought he was a weirdo too. But the bed was
Bed
set
Bath
right
and Beyond.
here, and everybody that's came in said the bed was for them. He got me the bed because he wanted me to sleep and rest, and then Peggy said that he wanted me to sleep there, but then also I've heard that he was sleeping with girls there.
Yeah, it didn't look like a staff seating sleeping area to me. I wouldn't have even gone near it or touched it because it looked like it was just like some
Here we are again with
some
these walls to
religious
talk.
some religious monument or something, But yeah, it was here for a long time too.